And good morning,
Morning, Father.
especially to those who have just joined us. Many thanks. This is my disposition at the moment. I have been receiving greetings the past days from so many people. And I have been aware that this year would be special for a lot of people. Yesterday in his good night talk, Father Larry was talking about 3 C's. The celebration by the community, our community, because today is our community day. And then also about the country and also about the church. And I'll explain it in a bit. But for the past 3 years and the times that I was assigned here in the Bosco College-Canlubang in the past, and that was many times as practical trainee, as principal, as dean, and then now as rector, my birthday has always been a no-class day in Laguna. And it's the same today, maski walang klase, no? Walang pasok yung mga empleyado in the whole of Laguna. Why? For June 19 was the birthday, or is the birthday of the most famous son of the province of Laguna, and that is Jose Rizal. However, who is not used to no-class days when we have been through 3 months of ECQ and GCQ. But as I told you, notwithstanding that, June 19 this year is special for the church. We celebrate the solemnity of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. Many thanks. This is my cry to God who has given us this wonderful grace. Today we thank Him for the gift of the capacity to love. I thank Him personally for the gift of life. Today I thank Him for the love He has bestowed on me. And the theme of my birthday prepared for me by my community is J-Flix. Dahil mahilig daw sa Netflix, no? But then it's the byword is very beautiful. Love streaming. God's love for all of us streams, as does the love from people all around us. And we thank God too for the power to love. Yes, God has given all of us a heart so that we may love. This solemnity of the Sacred Heart brings that to mind. God had a human heart in Jesus. And this topic about the heart brings to my mind something that I was always talking about as a professor. Because many years ago, one of the courses I was teaching was modern philosophy. And once I made a survey as to who was the favorite among the roster of philosophers in the modern period. And one person I asked mentioned the name Blaise Pascal. And I asked him to quote the philosopher, and he readily said, "We know the truth, not only by the reason, but also by the heart. The heart has its reasons that reason does not know." Parang hugot lines, no? But that was from Blaise Pascal. And I understood why that brother chose those words. That may be because the heart is central to so many persons. In fact, it's the weakness of some. The prominent object that we see in today's feast is the heart. And we immediately imagine the material heart, the very heart that each one of us has, pulsating and palpitating. Yet it is intimately connected not only with the physical, but with our emotional and moral life. In symbolic language, we have expressions to open one's heart or to give one's heart. Life is signified by a heart that is beating. In current language, using the figure of speech called synecdoche, describing the whole through the part or vice versa, the heart signifies the whole person himself. And thus the Sacred Heart for us would stand for the love of Jesus for all of us. His whole person reaching out to all of us. And we Filipinos, being sentimental people, hold on to this devotion. Did you not notice that this devotion is so popular in the Philippines that our community itself is affected during First Fridays when many priests are out because they have been scheduled to say masses in the offices or in the factories? We hold the love of Jesus as very dear in our own hearts. And in our Salesian, it began in full force only at the time of Don Rua, when he consecrated the whole congregation to the Sacred Heart. Of course, we do remember Don Bosco built the Basilica of the Sacred Heart of Jesus in Rome. But during his time, it was not so much heard of. Maybe they were fearing this heresy, that somehow partitioned Jesus. That if we talk of the Sacred Heart, baka sumunod na yung sacred lungs or sacred kidney. No? And it's something that was avoided in those times. But towards the end of his life, that devotion became so strong. And in fact, that those apparitions to Saint Margaret Mary Alacoque in France were done, or she was a sister or a nun of the Visitation. And who founded the Visitation Sisters? Saint Francis de Sales. So you would see there the spirituality that somehow had devotion to the Sacred Heart. Now, our readings for today tell us how great is the love of God for us. I would quote some of these passages. From the book of Deuteronomy, we hear very endearing words from the Lord to the people in the desert. It was not because you are the largest of all nations that the Lord set his heart on you and chose you, for you are really the smallest of all nations. It was because the Lord loved you, and because of his fidelity to the oath he had sworn your fathers, that he brought you out with his strong hand from the place of slavery and ransomed you from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And from our New Testament reading, the second reading, we heard God sent his only Son into the world so that we might have life through him. And this is love. Not that we have loved God, but that he loved us and sent his Son as expiation for our sins. Yeah, it's important to love God, but you know what came first? It's God's love for us. God embraces us. He has a soft spot for all of us. And in the gospel, we read of words among those that are most endearing, that are really sentimental and really very close to our hearts, where we see the tenderness of the love of Jesus when he said, "Come to me, all you who labor and are burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am meek and humble of heart, and you will find rest for yourselves. For my yoke is easy and my burden light. Learn from me, for I am meek and humble of heart." You know, dear friends, a lifetime is not enough for us to love like Jesus. We cannot love more than Jesus does. But like him, we can love. There was once a popular song, maybe popular when Father Larry was a teenager, but I do know that there was a revival of it some years back. It is entitled, "When I Fall in Love." Are you familiar with that? I like the phrases, "When I fall in love, it will be forever." And then there's the second part, "When I give my heart, it will be completely." Maybe that sounds very sentimental, but that is Christ's love, forever, completely. And here, I'm in the Salesian community. We realize we have our own brothers to love. And even beyond this community, we have our own people to love. We have our family to love, and so on. But most of all, we have our God whom we love. And we have best expressed this love through the vows that we have professed, we Salesians. And so, to my dear confreres, let the feast of today bring us to intensify the love that led us to profess, forever, completely. And we do not forget that it may not always feel good, that when you love, many times you are also hurt. Our love, like that of Jesus, entails suffering and rejection. But we should not fear, because God's love redeems. Many thanks. These words are not mine alone today. They are ours. Today is our thanksgiving for God's great love. His love will always be streaming. God bless us all.